welcome to Ask PQ on Bloomberg Quint. I'm Alex Matthew, and with me...
Well, Agam Akil, good afternoon, Alex. If you've got questions on equity, this show is perfect for you. Send them to us on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, WhatsApp, and you can also call us on 022-4540-4141. Or, of course, you can also email us at askpq@bloombergquint.com. Make sure you add the AskPQ hashtag. But before we get into individual queries, let's take a quick look at the Indian markets. I'm going to start off with the Nifty and the Sensex. So as of now, as you can see on your screen, well, we are looking at them trending slightly higher, with the Nifty higher by as much as 0.5% at around 10,760. Sensex the same, and the Nifty Bank on lending strength and lending up as much as 0.8% at around 26,000, nearly 500 as of now. Let's also pull up the advanced decline ratio when it comes to the National Stock Exchange. And as one might expect, we have seen a little bit of change from yesterday or the previous couple of days for that matter, because we have seen a positive incline towards the advances at around 862 against 669. And with that, let's also take a look at the contributors on the Nifty. What is it that's keeping the Nifty higher? And that's Reliance Industries along with the HDFC Twins and Kotak Mahindra lending support as well in today's job trade. It's the reason why we have a 50-point gain on the Nifty. What's bedding down on the indices is ITC, L&T, ONGC along with HCL Technologies. Moving on, let's also address some of the key gainers on the Nifty 50. And, well, we do have the likes of Vedanta looking at a little bit of a reversal in today's job trade. Of course, Reliance Industries now edging higher, well above the mark of 1,000 right now. And Z Entertainment also up and about in trade, up as much as 2%. On the losing end, we have some weakness coming in several other stocks when it comes to the Nifty. And let's take a look at UPL. That's down by as much as 2%. Indian Oil Corp along with some other OMCs declining, and Oil India is also down as much as 1.5%. After that, let's also take stock of what's happening in the mid-cap space. And the NSE 500 in terms of the key gainers, we have Parag Milk Foods, which is now advancing by nearly 6%. Vakrangi, of course, locked in an upper circuit of around 5%. It's the same for Quality as well. On the losing end, we have a lot of weakness across counters such as Interglobe Aviation, now down by as much as 5.5%. 1% Beverages, of course, as usual, locked in a lower circuit, as has been the case over the previous few days. And JBF Industries, which has been extremely volatile, you know, on certain days it's been up around 5.5%. And today we're looking at some weakness, down by as much as 4.5%. But the positive is that the advanced decline ratio continues to be inclined towards the advances for now in the ratio of 2:1, and that could be taken as a positive moving forward, at least as far as the broader markets go, Alex.
All right, so that's the snapshot of how the markets stand right now. Our two experts of the day, very lucky for us today, are in the studio with us. We've got Mr. G. Chokkalingam of Equinomics Research, and also NS Fidai, who is a technical analyst and mentor, and they're here to answer all of your queries. Welcome to the show, gentlemen. I'm going to start, in fact, with the live queries that we've got. A lot of you have already written to us on the various social media platforms, and starting with YouTube, we've got Rahul Nayak, who has written in to us and is asking about two particular stocks. We've got SL Propack and Sharda Cropchem. Let's pull up those two stocks and see what they're telling you right now with regard to the trade today. Both these stocks, interesting stocks, Mr. Chokkalingam, and with a long-term perspective, they've both seen correction in the year-to-date period. In fact, I would say that SL Propack is around the same level that it was last year. It's lost a decent amount. Would you recommend getting into the space for a long term?
Sharda Cropchem one can consider buying because of good monsoon forecast. SL Propack, if it corrects marginally also, one can consider because the oil price rise is a concern. From 2016 bottom, oil price has gone up more than 160%. This company is quite sensitive to the raw material price front. because the inputs are a derivative of crude oil. So if there is any 3-5% correction, then one can buy SL Propec.
Okay, and Sharda?
One can slowly build the portfolio with Sharda Krapcam along with the monsoon performance. There's a lull phase now, so don't be in a hurry. Just see for next 2-3 weeks, because July, August are the crucial month for the monsoon.
So within that space, Chokka, would you recommend certain other stocks, or would you stick with Sharda?
No, if you ask me, I won't touch personally both stocks.
Okay. So but if not, then what's your recommendation?
Well, there are many, because the mid caps have crashed like anything. I would play on Nesco and Bombay Stock Exchange. In fact, I am pitching these two ideas, the topmost high conviction ideas from Equinomics.
Okay.
I have own rational. I find them great value picks.
Okay.
All right, so we have a lot of questions with respect to city gas distribution companies, but before I go to that, let's just address what's going on with Vedanta. As you can see, we have seen a little bit of an uptick of around 2.5% today. There you have it, and this is after a lot of volatility that the stock has faced. We have a query coming in from Dipanshu Bhatia, and he says that he's bought Vedanta at around 274. He's clearly making a considerable amount of losses right now, potential ones, considering he's bought about 600 shares in this particular stock. Mr. Fidai, how would you help Dipanshu with his position right now? What would you advise him to do? Book losses or hold on in that case? Or what kind of stop losses can he put?
Well, in case of Vedanta, actually it's nearing about its support area of 210, 205. I would advise him, if he can hold till that area and keep a stop loss below 205, 204. That should help him, and there should be a bounce to at least maybe 240 approximately, so where he can maybe book some profits or trail and keep on trailing it with maybe if he's buying adding at 210, 205, right? So he can trail it to 220 and then keep on holding it as far as possible, because I doubt the stock will go further down. It has got huge support around this area, and technically it looks good overall on a long-term chart. Okay, so he has 600 shares right now. Considering it does go above it's around 240 as you suggest, do you think that he should book in partially and then wait for... I would say I would hold the stock and trail it to 270 approximately at least. All right.
All right, so we've got a lot of questions, like I said, coming up on our social media platforms. I'm just going to try and figure out what is happening on YouTube. A lot of you have written in. One of you, I was looking at GM Breweries and Som Distilleries. Interesting play. In fact, this is a question being asked by Pravesh Yadav. What is the view with regard to the next 2 to 3 years in these two stocks?
See, the liquor stocks are highly cyclical, along with the sugar cycle. When sugar industry goes through the pain, this industry benefits because alcohol price crashes. And if you look at GM Brewery in the last 5 years, it has already become a phenomenal multi-bagger. I would not advise to buy at these levels. Both, if they rise, you can sell, because if you look at the fiscal position of the central government and state government, it's quite tough. For central government, non-tax revenues have crashed, and the state government is also going through tough time in terms of financing their budget. So there is a possibility of increasing the duties on the liquor business. So before March next year. So therefore, if there is any further spike, I would suggest sell on this liquor stock.
All right, so as I was saying, we have a lot of queries on the city gas distribution companies, IGL case in point, and MGL. A lot of queries coming in on Mahanagar Gas. We have Sarabjit Singh Sidhu. His question is on IGL and Mahanagar Gas along with Gujarat Gas, and Dipanshu Bhatia has also a question on MGNL. So I'm just going to start off with Mahanagar Gas, considering that's been the stock which was under some amount of pressure over the previous few months, and it has been relatively volatile. And I'm going to take a fundamental check on this. Mr. Chokkalingam, first let me just start off with your view on Mahanagar Gas. What's going on? How are you viewing the valuations? What are the prospects of the company? If you could tell us about that.
Long-term prospect remain very robust, no doubt about it, because they supply gas to households, and that is going to be perennially a growth story. In some of the cases where the investors have exited, so that's why we saw the stock crashing.
Right.
So I would suggest buy and hold for medium to long term, which means if somebody is willing to wait for more than a year, and both Mahanagar Gas and other gas company look good.
So Sarabjit's asking of these three, which is the better one to pick?
In my view, Mahanagar Gas is a better one.
All right. Okay.
All right, we've got an intraday question. In fact, Manam of Warangal is writing about an aviation company, Indigo. In fact, is what Interglobe Aviation is what he's asking about. Remember, these stocks have been under pressure in the recent past, especially that latest update with regard to the air traffic data that's come out. And they've all had pressure in the month of May, particularly on account of the pricing pressure that they've faced. People are not flying at the higher costs that are being priced in the ticket fares. But this is an intraday question. He's bought Indigo at 1,170. He's asking what his stop loss should be and what his exit should be. It's down significantly in trade today.
Yeah, it's down. Most of the aviation stocks are currently down today. I think he should keep a stop loss at 1144 should be good enough for him. And overall the chart is not bad. Only thing is today's reaction, if it sustains below 1150, then we are heading for a deeper one. We can go to even 1100 or maybe 1090. So that should be acting as a very strong support. Rather, he's bought at a very good price, so he should hold and keep a stop loss at 1144 and look out at exiting somewhere around 1220 or 1210.
So hold on for more than one day. Don't treat it as an intraday.
BTST or something, extreme short term.
Okay.
Okay, I believe we have a caller right now. We have Ankit Kumar, who's calling us from Kishanganj. Hi Ankit, good afternoon. Thanks for calling in. Tell us, what would you like to know from our experts?
Yeah, thank you very much. I wanted to know about Divi's Lab. I had bought it for 1107. And since like 1 month have passed, and it's like it's going down only.
So Ankit,
it has recovered a bit, but it is down. So I'm looking for around 1160, 1180 levels.
Okay.
In how much time will it come up?
No, Ankit, but tell me, how long do you want to hold it on? Is this a trading bet or is this for investment?
I can hold it for like 1 to 2 months max.
Okay, 1 to 2 months max. So it is clearly a trading bet for now. Well, a positional trade for that matter. Divi's Labs currently trading at about 1,073. So, Mr. Fidai, I'm going to take this question to you, considering it's a relatively shorter term one. What would you advise Ankit should do?
I think Ankit has already seen the price go to 1030 approximately. So now it has made a double bottom on 200 demo. Looks to be a technically very good support area. So, and from there it has bounced also, and it has gone up almost like up to 1130. So now he can look at holding it further and trail it with a stop loss around you can say 1160 something. Sorry, 1060. And that should, if he's holding it for a very short term. Otherwise, he should keep that stop loss of double bottom where it has made around 1030. So that would be the good area to keep as a stop loss. It was 1020, and I feel he will get a good rewards in extreme short term. Maybe it will go up to again to the nearest high, that was 1220 in next 2 to 3 months. So he should be rewarded well.
Okay, we've got an interesting question, I would say. I'm not very sure about the buy price here. Gursharan Rosha is asking about Reliance Industries. Gursharan bought at 450 levels, is what I can see in the message that he sent on YouTube. If he did, then it's a brilliant entry price, I must say, because the stock is currently trading at 1,020. Up in trade today about 2.5%. He's got a long-term view is what he's saying. How long should he hold it and what price can he see in the next 1 to 2 years? What's the view here?
Next 1 to 2 years, if market is normal, he can definitely get minimum 15% return. It can be more also if the management decides to unlock value from the retail business and Jio.
Yeah.
What they did more than a decade ago, if they demerge into separate companies and offer them to the shareholders, then in 2 years it can rise even 50%. I'm not forecasting it, but he should definitely hold it for.
But what according, obviously it's Reliance, a lot of people say is despite the fact that it's at historically high levels, is still a good bet in the longer term, but what really is that one factor that you're looking at? Is it Jio for you?
Not only Jio, even the retail business. You see the madness of valuation for retail business on the market. And they built a very good top line in the retail business. And I believe they are getting into online retail also.
Yes.
So strategically, they can unlock money by listing at least two verticals, retail as well as Jio.
All right, well, we'll move on, take the next query from Nikhil Gandhi. His question is, he wants a technical point of view on 3 stocks. I'm going to address 2 at least and try and address the third one if we do have time. The first one is Voltas. It's come off the mark around 650 earlier in the previous few months. Now currently trading around 523. We're getting a lot of queries on Voltas, especially after we've seen that kind of correction. A lot of traders out there are of the opinion that perhaps it's time for Voltas to change course and start moving higher. Well, I'm going to put this question up to our technical expert here, Mr. Fidai. What's your view on Voltas now technically? What levels would you be watching out for?
Currently, Voltas is seeing lots of weather actually. The stock is not able to move above its 18 days moving average also. So that is a very negative sign, seriously, and it has given a breakdown from major support. It has fallen below 200 DEMA. All moving averages are going down below 200 DEMA. So seriously, if somebody is considering to buy, I would advise him not to do it right now.
And what would you say about MCX? If we can also pull up MCX right now, it's currently trading at around 778. And again, this stock has also seen quite a lot of volatility. In fact, over the past few days, it has been falling from around the levels of around 800. Currently at around 778. Mr. Fidai, your view on MCX?
I think I get MCX every time. Last time also I had MCX.
Right.
So people are there like in MCX and they want a view from me. So yeah, probably it is like in a channel right now, and it is finding the channel support is somewhere around 730. So that should be a good area to add and keep a stop loss just maybe 1% below 730. That should help the person to, then one can trade it and hold it for maybe 820 and trail it further for 850 also probably.
All right.
All right, a couple of IPOs in fact opening today. The Rights IPO is something that a lot of people are talking about, Mr. Chokkalingam. It's the first one from the stables of the railway, the Indian Railways. It's not a very large IPO in that sense, 400 and something odd crores for 10% stake offer for sale. What would you recommend? A lot of the brokerage houses have gone ahead and said subscribe.
Yeah, obviously, because numbers are favorable. On a trailing earning basis, it's around 11 PE. And a lot of cash on the book. Cash is about 30% of the market cap.
Yeah.
So definitely one should apply. And tactically, the floating stock is very low. So Indian market has rewarded, many PSU stocks where the floating stock was too low, beyond the fundamentals, what the fundamentals deserve. I'm not forecasting that. That could be also one of the possibilities, apart from fundamental conviction. So therefore, one should apply.
Okay, and in fact, so one of our other guests on the show has gone ahead. Every time we ask him about an IPO, says that all of your family members should go ahead and subscribe because of the allocation of shares, and it's the best way to go about it. This, by the way, was a question from Rangarajan Balakrishnan on Facebook. Hope that answers your question, Rangarajan.
Well, we'll move on and address metals, which have again seen a lot of volatility, and as one might expect, we get a lot of questions on Tata Steel as well. Our next question is from Uday Kumar on YouTube. He says that he's bought Tata Steel at 720, and he wants to get an idea about what to do with Tata Steel with a horizon of around 3 to 6 months. Mrs. Chokkalingam, can you help him right now? At 720, we've seen a lot of correction.
I would suggest him to hold. See, the metal space is the most sensitive one to the global deflationary pressures.
Yes.
2016 February, when Sensex fell 25% from 2015 high of 30,000, the metal segment was there, which was leading the fall. And the way the trade war is tightening between China and US, I'm a bit worried, not only on metal, entire market, and then you have the domestic factors like election, all that. So I'm not bullish on the market till December, and more worried on the metal space because of the global factors.
So in fact, this is a question, Agam, that Shivam Agrawal has, and I think relates to what you're just saying. He's asking what are the sectors or stocks that are most vulnerable to the ongoing trade spat between.
The first is the metal.
Yeah.
And the perfect negative play is Vedanta because it is into aluminum, copper, oil. All of them fall if the deflationary signs keep increasing. And followed by, there will be beneficiary also. Oil price will crack.
Yeah.
So oil marketing companies and other tire companies, they will get benefit. So these are the two extremes.
So those are the ones that you have to avoid, basically.
All right. We'll take the next one from Tushar Tiwari, and his question is on Federal Bank. Can we pull up Federal Bank and see where they're trading? At least the underlying in the spot market's currently at around 83.35. He's bought 1,200 shares of Federal Bank at around 89.75. So he is sitting at a little bit of a loss. Assuming that this is a short-term call that Tushar Tiwari has made. So I'm going to toss this over to Mr. Fidai. How are you viewing trade on Federal Bank, and what do you advise Tushar should do with his position?
Tushar can hold the stock with a stop loss around 79 or 78.50, and should see if the currently the stock is in a downward falling flag, which is basically trading below 50 DEMA and all 18 DEMA and every DEMAs basically. So seriously, which is not something exciting on the chart. It is a huge inverted cup formation. So he has to have a strict stop loss around 79.50 or 80. That should help him, because otherwise he will be stuck with the stock for a longer term.
All right, we've got a question from Harsh Kumar on YouTube. Harsh has bought ABB India, just under 100 shares, 99 shares at 1,160. Let's pull up the chart. It's currently trading above his buy price at 1,212, but it is a stock, like a lot of others, that has seen correction in the recent past. The year-to-date change is down about 14%, and over the last 12 months, down just under 20%. What should he do? He can hold for 1 to 2 years is what he's saying.
You can definitely hold it for two reasons. One, ABB, all of us know it's a very quality MNC stock.
Yeah.
And it's a play on investment cycle. If you see last couple of months, there are some comforting factors on India's investment cycle.
Yeah.
The railway cargo is improving, IIP, core sector growth are improving. So there is a possibility of some turnaround in the investment cycle, which would favor companies like ABB and Siemens. So I would suggest him to hold on.
Okay.
All right, well, we have a live caller from Chennai. I think we have Srinivasan on the line. Hi, Srinivasan. Good afternoon. Tell us, what would you like to know from our experts?
Hello.
Yes, Srinivasan. Hi, good afternoon. What would you like to know?
Good afternoon. I would like to know on DFM Foods on a long-term basis. I have around 200 shares, bought at around 1,500 rupees.
Okay, well, I guess I'm going to toss it over to Mr. Chokkalingam. Do you track this counter, sir, at DFM Foods? He's bought it around 1,500.
Yeah, I mean, I track it. It corrected phenomenally. What I would suggest is that even after such a crash, it is too costly. So I would suggest him to sell if there is any tactical upswing to a level of 1,350 to 1,400.
Right. Very small volumes from what we can see over there, and it's around 38% of a correction that has been seen in the year.
It has posted 23 rupee EPS for FY18.
Okay.
But the stock, if my memory is right, it went as high as even 4,000.
Okay.
So it was purely on speculative ground.
Okay.
So it's not a great quality stock in my view. So he should, based on the valuation, he should sell if this moves to 1350.
Any other plays in that sector that you would suggest?
See, good stocks are too costly.
Yeah.
In food, consumer, I mean, nothing is cheap. So therefore, I am not in a position to recommend any stock.
All right, but if I can pull up Avanti Feeds as well, because this is a question we keep getting. We also have a question on Avanti Feeds on Facebook from Shivu SB, one of our regular viewers. We've seen a lot of volatility in this particular stock. It's at around 1675. It's down as much as 3%. Of course, you know, it went into the ASM, it came out, and after that, it has continued to see some amount of correction. That said, if you consider the technical check, you know, we've seen substantial volumes building in this one. So, Mr. Fidai, how would you see Avanti Feeds right now in terms of trade, and what would you advise Shivu should do?
If he wishes to buy this stock, I would ask him to go for, like, you know, buying in a small quantities right now, because stock is facing lots of heat, and the way it has fallen with huge volumes, and then it has seen the corrective up move. So we are seeing, like, you know, probably we could see something, it could come down to 1650 or 1500, approximate that area.
Right.
And within that area, if he tries to keep on adding, that could help him for a, like, you know, because it's a quality stock, seriously.
Right.
And I would love to buy it as cheaper as possible, but to advise, I would say rather he should do sipping. That's a different way of looking at, you know, stock, quality stock, instead of going whole hog one time,
right?
Because there is lots of volatility.
Distribute his investments.
Distribute his investments over a period of maybe few weeks or few months, and you know, do it in a slow, gradual way.
All right.
I'm going to slip in a quick question on Moil to you, Mr. Fidai. Yeah. We've got a short-term query coming in on YouTube from Sharat Shetty. He's asking a view on Moil. He bought it at 260 levels, it's corrected all the way to 179. The year-to-date correction, of course, around 26%, but he's got a view only for the next couple of months, or rather 3 to 6 months. So what should he do?
See, currently it is almost trading at the lowest of the lowest of prices, around 175 and 180, right? So anything below 175 will be a problem for this stock, because that will be turning into new lower bottoms, and technically it could go further down. Else, like, you know, I wouldn't advise anybody to buy right now.
Okay, all right. But if he's holding, then should he exit at this point?
Maybe he should keep a stop loss at 174.
Okay, all right. Well, on that note, we'd like to thank our guests. Thanks so much, Mr. Chokkalingam and Mr. Fidai, for joining us on the show and for answering all the questions that were asked today. Do remember, of course, that we're just a tweet, post or call away for all the questions that we could answer. I hope this helped you. For all the ones that we couldn't, do tune in tomorrow.
And you can also log on to BloombergQuint.com and search for AskBQ hashtag and get answers to all the queries that were discussed on the show. Power Lunch is up next, so keep watching Bloomberg Quint.